looks pretty good. Okay. What are we getting up to today? Well, I had this box waiting for me when I woke up, which is pretty exciting. I didn't expect this to be here for like another 2 months, to be honest. So what is this? This is the Great Escape Games Mounted Gunfighters Kickstarter, which was like a week-long Kickstarter and then like shipped out like a week later. Like, it was pretty crazy. It was really much more of like a pre-order than anything else. Like, they'd already had these things made. But yeah, super exciting. Dead Man's Hand was easily my game of the year last year. Super fun. Had a really good time with it. So, yeah, when I saw there was a new Kickstarter, I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. So pretty cool. So I figured we'd open it up. Actually, I haven't pulled anything out of the box yet. All I did was fold the address flaps down. And yeah, figured we'd see what they sent over. Whoosh. And then after I check all this stuff out, I think we'll probably work on some necromunda terrain, because I have all my tiles printed now, so we'll talk about that when we get there. All right, see what we got. We got a bookmark for the Mounted Gunfighters. They always put one of these in here. Here's the one from the Dead Man's Hand starter set. It's pretty cool. I taped them up on the thing behind me, but this one's tape fell off. Hence why I have it here now. But I'll tape that back up too. And let's see what we got here. We have howdy partners. We tip our hats and offer our heartfelt thanks to those who backed our Dead Man's Hand Mounted Gunfighters Kickstarter campaign. Their support has been precious. It's been more precious than gold. It's a sense of gratitude as wide open plains, and we recognize each other and every one of y'all. So, I don't know, some kind of nice little card. And a picture. That's pretty cool. It's a picture from the box. It's a neat little thing. Nice for them to put that in there. We've got our box of Mounted Gunfighters. We'll crack those open in a minute. And then the other thing that I had them add, because I've wanted one of these, is the new building. So this is the Aces and Eights Saloon. So I'm going to get rid of this box. We'll check some stuff out. So yeah, so this is their saloon building. I had built a saloon / like whorehouse previously. But I actually hadn't put the train inside of it yet. So this is my whorehouse, the big hole. I hadn't put the train inside of it yet, although I have all of it printed out. So the bar train and stuff is now going to go in this one instead. And this one's going to get like a little stage for dancing people and stuff like that. But yeah, it really just fantastic. Awesome. Easily my favorite train of last year. And that will continue probably into this year as I throw it all on the floor. I do want to also mention that this also includes probably my craziest, most like obsessive project I've ever done, which was putting in fake glass in the windows, which was very fun, but straight up made me feel autistic as hell. But yeah, really fun project. I think it looks super cool. Alright, I'm actually gonna put this one back on the shelf so I can stop dropping the damn thing. But yeah. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's look at our gunfighter first and then we'll check the building out. Alright, let's see. We got our mounted gunfighters. Looks like this one is dudes. not ladies. So I think the ladies are coming later. Although really you could probably put the bodies from the ladies on these and just have your ladies wearing pants. If you really wanted mounted ladies. Oh, it comes in a nice little bag. There we go. Don't need that bag anymore. Trash. Let's see, what do we got? Okay, so they come with bases. I will probably print my own bases out, but it's nice that they come with bases. And it looks like we get a sprue of horsies. So let's see, this sprue is 5 horsies. And there's 5 different horsey heads and a whole bunch of like tack. So like a drinking thing, some saddle bags, another bag, a bedroll, some canteens over here. Just a whole bunch of little like accessories on the horsey sprue. The sprue is kind of like empty, so they probably could have fit more stuff on here. But I mean, really, this is kind of everything I would expect from a sprue of horsies, you know, for this era. But, you know, there's a whole bunch of empty gaps. They could have probably fit some more stuff on here. But yeah, that's pretty darn cool. So we're gonna have 5 different heads, and do the horsey bodies, are they interchangeable? Looks like they are probably interchangeable. Maybe not. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna say maybe not, because each one has little tabs in it, and then the bodies have little tabs. Now you could clip those off, and they will probably be fully interchangeable. But maybe they're there so that the bodies line up, right? Maybe that's the thinking for it. All right, we're gonna get 2 of those sprues, so we're gonna get 10 horsies in total. It's pretty cool. And then we're gonna get a whole 2 of these sprues as well. So this is the actual mounted dudes. And let's see, we got a whole bunch of different pistols. That's a cool looking pistol. You got like lever action rifle. We've got some kind of repeater there. I like the bag. The bag is cool. I think I want to use that on just a regular guy too. And then we got some rifles in little sacks. Oh wow, we have a separate hat. That's going to be great for my kit bashes. And then down here we have some heads. So pretty standard cowboy fare. It's a guy with a little stunty cigarette in his mouth. That's kind of cool. I'll be super honest, I never use the cowboy heads because I have my whole like animal If I Will Goes West theme thing. Looks like this is going to be 5 bodies, so 5 sets of legs, 5 chests, from a big coat all the way down. And we got the saddlebag arm there. That's pretty cool. And then we have like a lasso arm. That's really cool. And a guy holding... I had to make my own one of these before, with the guy holding the rope. Yeah, I totally made one of those. Yeah, that's the new Mr. Gunfighter Fox I made. See, I just totally made my own, like, holding a rope. This is pretty darn fun. So, that's a nice addition, because that's something I wanted, but wasn't there before. Yeah, let's see, we got another rifle in a sack, some more hands. We have a breached shotgun. So if you haven't seen these on the other sprue, these are really cool. So it's a shotgun, but it comes in 2 pieces, so you can actually have it popped open. Yeah, like Mrs. Rabbit here has her. God, my chair's stuck on something. Mrs. Rabbit here has her shotgun breached open like she's reloading it. Or you can close it up, which is pretty cool. So they're pretty cool parts. I like them a lot. So that's nice to have as well. And then we've got some kind of pot thing. I don't know what that is. It's like 2 pieces there. It looks like you put it together. No idea what that is. We got a canteen. There's a couple of holsters with guns in them, which is always great. And then we get some more heads at the top. So we got a guy in like a trilby. We've got a guy in a sack and a guy in a top hat. So pretty cool. Really nice set of sprues. And it's really good to see Dead Man's Hand expanding out. Because like legitimately, this was my like game of the year, man. This was a fantastic game. I'm super excited to add to it. I actually, because one of the factions I made, are like wild men, fur trapper cannibals. Or they're like, you know, covered in furs, but because they're all animals, that makes them cannibals. This guy has that shotgun that I showed off, but sawed down because I thought a sawed off shotgun was cool. So one of the factions I made is that, and I actually have their god, which is like a Wendigo creature from Raging Heroes that I put some chain on his horns because I thought it looked cool AF. So yeah, so that's going to be their god, because the other cultists have their gods too, so they've got all their monsters like the monster bear and stuff. So yeah, like my other faction has their like horror monsters too, so I wanted the cannibals to have one as well. So alright, now let's check out the big box. The Aces and Eights Saloon. Ooh. So a whole bunch of new parts in this one, including the saloon doors, this banner piece here, new regular doors as well, which is really cool, and a new top sign. Besides that, I think the rest of the parts are reused. But it's enough to make it definitely look like a different kind of building. Okay, so we got some building instructions. Ooh. So this stuff had to come all the way from Germany, so we got little bits bouncing off. I'm not super surprised. Doesn't look like anything's like broken or anything, just fell off the sprue. Alright, so got a whole bunch of runners in here. Speaking of pieces falling off the sprue. Alright, let's see what we got. We've got a roof panel and 2 sidewall panels there. A nice kind of texture like before. We got a double window set. We've got 2 floor panels. Nice, they got the grates in them to put the walls up. Could also be used as second floor roofs. This is actually a sprue from the previous double-decker building. So this is the, like one of the pieces of a roof, like one of the sides of a roof, the front of a roof, or if you wanted to do the ends, you could do that. Then we've got a door on there and parts of an overhang and one wall with 3 windows in it. Then we've got this sprue. This sprue is awesome because they took all the extra space and added animals. So you're going to get a bunch of little crows, you're going to get a dog. But we have a back wall, a wall with a door, and an internal wall. So this one fits inside if you want to break the building up on the inside. And let's see what we got here. We have another oh, this is new. Okay. So this, I guess, is the new sprue for this building. So this is a new front, another door like on the side, I guess. And then we have what? We have the frame for the saloon doors. So that's pretty cool. It looks like we have two different types of saloon doors, which is really cool. You know, the fancy ones are the like kind of cheaper looking ones. And we've got one new door. It's a neat new pattern. We've got a sleeping kitty cat, which is really cool. We've got the hanging sign here, and then the other new door here. This looks like a prison door. I wish I would have had this when I built my jailhouse, because this would have been a really good door for that. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's a bunch of nice new parts that'll add a lot of flair. Alright, and this is another piece from the regular double-decker building. It includes a like overhang, like a porch lanai kind of thing, and then stairs to get in and out. So there's some pieces here for the porch, and then pieces for the lanai. And last but not least, we have a sprue that I'm throwing all the pieces from. This is the duckboard sprue. So what this is the little pieces that go in front of the buildings or on the side of the buildings. Because Wild West towns would just turn into muds. They would build these so people wouldn't have to walk through it. But it's cool. You got the little hitching posts. You got the water containers. You get some barrels. There's like a bucket, stuff like that. So. And then we got our instructions here. This, I think, is the... Yeah, this is the instructions from the regular double-decker building. So, nothing new there. Yeah, and you can see the... Can you actually build both types of roof with this, or can you only build the one? So this is the sideways roof. This is the new roof front. And that's sideways roof. Okay, so you can only build one sideways roof, which is fine. So I guess they threw this in loose, because I don't know what sprue this is supposed to attach to. So I guess they put that in loose, which is kind of weird. But, I mean, it works. But yeah, that's super cool. Gonna be a very fun project. Add another building to my Colorado themed like Wild West town, and looking forward to getting some more games of Dead Man's Hand on this channel, because it really was my favorite game of 2024. So the drop more shit on the floor. Good job. So yeah, that's really cool. This also all came like instantly fast. Well, it shipped instantly fast. Coming from Germany, it takes a while, but yeah, like it shipped out like a week after I backed it, which was kind of crazy. But super cool nonetheless. Super cool stuff. All right, now that we got that all opened up and checked out, let's build some necromunda terrain. So I'm going to put these guys back so they don't get hit by anything. And we'll talk about my necromunda tiles project that I'm doing. Okay. Bonk. Bonk. So, what am I doing? I've talked about this before, but my FDM printer died, so I basically had to restart the project. And I restarted it with new files that I like better. So, I kind of want to talk about those a little bit. So, these are 6x6 tiles done in the Necromunda style to fit with the Zone Mortalis terrain, which is really freaking cool. These are from Print Minis. They print out very fast on a Neptune 4. They print out in 2.5 hours. if you do them on fast. So this is the fast setting, right? You can kind of see some of the layer lines, but I mean, it's a floor in an apocalyptic like hell area, so you know it's fine. But this is the fast setting. So if you wanted to crank that down, you could actually do twice this height, which basically it would look perfect. But yeah, so my plan is I have printed out 16 of these 6x6s. And they're going to go on my 2x2 rotating board like this. Or like this. Or like this. So instead of having to put down all of the walls, what I have to put down now is instead just the pieces. Right? I take a tile, I put it down. Right? So it makes this setup for Zone Mortalis way less daunting, right? Because like if you want to set up a really modular Zone Mortalis board, it's a headache, let's be real. It's just so many pieces, right? So instead of having to put down 3 pieces here, I can just put down 1 now, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put scatter terrain and stuff down, like glue down on these, but I'm going to put all the wall pieces down. So, yeah, so I thought that would be pretty cool. So, I figure we'll work on those for a little bit more before I call it a stream. So I have about half of them done, and the rest are all primed like this. Now, these tiles, each one of them, I've drilled, or have on the other ones anyway, drilled a hole in the middle with a 5x5 thing, just so they have a little bit of grip, because my 2x2 rotating board that I've shown off on the channel multiple times has a magnetic is wrong. Has a steel plate on the top, and it allows magnets to click onto it, right? So at least if there's a little magnet here, they're not going to click on perfectly, but they're at least going to have some resistance from sliding around, right? So like instead of being like, whoosh, you know, it'll be like, you know, because it's got at least a little bit of magnetic resistance. So you can see it on that one there. If you were to use a bigger magnet, you'd have way more, right? If you probably put one of these in every corner, you could probably turn the board on its side and actually use it, but that's a little overkill for me. I'm pretty happy with that as it is. But, so I've got 8 more of these. I've got these 4. I think I have 4 in the other room. I don't remember where I put them. But I figured we would start off and get maybe at least 1 or 2 looking like those other things there. Ugh. Okay. Huzzah! Dirty paint water. All right. Dry brush. All right. Paint colors. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a napkin and I'll be right back. Okay, these are the other 4. Actually, looks like these are a little warped. They got a little warped in the sun. That's annoying. That is very, very annoying. The benefit of living in Hawaii is that I can spray these outside 24/7. The non-benefit is that if I forget them in the sun, they will get warped. So we'll be breaking out the heat gun on those later. Now if I just heat them up and press them down, they'll fix themselves. But that's still obnoxious. Oh, because it's an extra step I haven't had to do with the other ones. But I guess they were too much in the sun. Oh, Hawaii. Where everyone else is like, I can't paint. I'm like, I can paint all year, but also the sun melts my miniatures. Alright, so we're going to do some really garbage painting today. What we're going to do, we're going to find my shitty little palette. I should get a better one of these, but this is the crappy one I have still. God, I've been using that thing for a year now, this little tiny shitty thing. I really should get a nicer one. So this is silicone, like popper toy, by the way, is what this is. They make amazing palettes because you can just push the paint out of them. Unless you're into wet palettes, which I have a wet palette and it's very nice, but it requires a lot more setup to like keep it clean and stuff like that than this does. So, all right. And you're probably like, "Oh, you're going to dry brush." No, I'm not. No, I am not. I'm going to fucking everything brush. That's what I'm going to do. So this one I'm going to choose to make a straight wall with here. And I am doing a very heavy overbrush of brown over this because they were printed in black plastic and then primed with black paint. So put a little bit down and then kind of work it out. All right, and we're gonna wind up with some areas that are way kind of crappier and like rustier and shittier looking than others, right? That's kind of what we want, right? We kind of want this kind of dirty brown, kind of slapped on kind of looking thing. All right, now this one is just going to get a middle pillar. There's not anything else in this one, so we have to do all the areas. I'm just going to put some down and then just kind of work it out. All right, just like that. And we're not painting. We're not trying to get perfect coverage. We're just trying to get some brown all over the place. That's sort of the goal here. The truth is, these floor tiles need to be a little more dull than the walls, and they need to be a lot more dull than the miniatures. So that's kind of how you want your terrain. You don't really want your terrain to be like the focus, it looks amazing piece. You want it to look good enough and have theme, but not like take away from the show, you know? All right, this one we're going to build a straight line, so we're going to your terrain is essentially background, and that's what you want it to be. You don't want it to be so fancy or detailed or intricate that like it becomes the show, you know. You primarily want it to carry theme more than any specific details, right? All right, let's get some more brown. I was going to do all 8 of these, but since I fucking melted 4 of them, because of fucking course I did, we'll just work on 4, I guess. So the brown I'm using is an old dead color from Army Painter, called Dirt Splatter. Really any kind of like rich brown will work. Doesn't have to be a specific kind of thing. Anything will work here. All right. if I have brown left, we will hit the last one. Okay, what do we want this one to be? Maybe like an L, right? Like this, and then we'll put a door here. I think that sounds pretty cool. We'll do that. So that means that we need to paint. Yeah, because I'm not bothering painting the ones that I'm going to cover in a piece of terrain, because you're legitimately never going to see them. There we go. A little bit left to do. Kind of splotching it around on some of the other pieces. All right, nice. Next step is silver. Now, I was going to paint these to fully match the walls. So I have some walls here that are tan, and I have some that are kind of this beige color. I was going to paint all the floor panels like these to be beige and all, but honestly the camera works better when the base of it is dark. My camera likes that better for lighting, so that's one of the things that I'm doing instead. So it will also make the floor stand out a little more. It would match a little better if I were to do it in the other color, but meh. The ability of making it stand out and show up on camera is kind of more important, right? Because my whole thing for my 2x2 board is that I can play it like, you know, it's kind of like set up for the channel. You know what I mean? All right, a little more traditional, kind of dry brush now. Just gonna kind of hit some of the spots. All right, I don't want to paint these gratings, so I'm just gonna kind of dry brush them. All right, just a little bit more traditional. I'm gonna put it in a little bit harder in the gratings, like that, and just a little bit, just like that. And we can go ahead and kind of keep that going. All right. I'll probably pick up a little bit of the brown paint because it's still probably a little dry. That's fine. All right. And that's kind of our end desired goal. Well, not really. There's another step after this, but now if we wanted these to look super mega fancy, we could also hit them with like a wash, but so a lot of area to hit with a wash. So if you're going to do that, please make your own wash. What I would recommend doing, and what I still might do, although I'm not doing it today, is actually make an oil wash out of an oil paint and some like a little bit of thinner, and you'll get something that will look really cool. You'll get a nice grimy kind of effect out of it. And I still might do that on these tiles before I seal them, but we'll see. We'll see. As you can see, some areas will be way more silver than others. Some areas are going to be way more brown. But I mean, we're making a environment, right? So like everything's not going to be perfect. You know, we kind of want it to just carry our theme and sort of let it blend into the background. All right. So I'm going to pick out some details after this on these tiles. And a little bit of detail is going to go a huge, long way on these. If you want to pick out too much detail, it's going to get really crazy. It's actually one of the reasons I really like these files from Print Minis, is because they actually have less detail than the real tiles. So the real tiles have like cables and all this kind of bits and bobs that run along the ground. And these actually have less of that. And I think that's nice because it will make them, it'll make them kind of blend in a little, right? So as I add details onto the upper parts, onto the walls and stuff, they'll stand out more. There we go. All right. That's the end of our dry brush. And now we're going to pick some details out. So let me grab... Yoink! Is it you? No. Is it you? Yes. All right. That silver I used was chainmail from Vallejo. Any silver will work. That's why I wasn't like, you should use this color. Literally any silver will work. So after it's had a couple minutes to dry, this is kind of what it's going to look like. Kind of splotches of dirt, splotches of silver, right? And I'm going to break out this copper now. And we're going to pick out a couple of the details. Because a little bit of detail work's going to go a long way on these. Right? And we don't want to go overboard. So... we got our big old brush. There we go. As I punch everything, then we're going to pick some details out. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Bonk. Bonk. And I'm going to pick out all the little nuts. Just like that. That's what I'm doing. You can see we have the pieces that we still haven't painted because that's where the walls are going to go. Now we could just paint the whole thing and then decide later, but that seems like a waste to me. So this makes more sense to me. So I'll show you how I glue down one of the walls as well. But yeah, if you want to hit this whole thing with an oil wash, it'd be awesome looking. Absolutely awesome. There we go. A little bit of detail popping. You'll get more detail in a minute, which is going to... So in the next piece of detail, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint some of the floor tiles. And what that's going to do is it's going to pull you away from kind of like the swashiness of it, like the splashy kind of color crazy dry brush that I've done so far, right? And it's going to make other areas look static. So that will make these areas kind of, the design of them make more sense, right? Because right now it just kind of looks crazy, you know? But when you kind of create some static pieces, you'll have something to anchor your eye to. So the other pieces will look better. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But yeah, on the first set of these floor tiles, I was doing stuff like painting some of the grates to have colors underneath them and all this stuff, and just it was too much, right? I was doing too much with it. I am going to pull out some texture paint still and do little blobs of dirt here and there on them. I just have not decided 100% how much of that I want to do yet. But that is something else that will be coming. Little blobs of dirt and grass on these. Because, I mean, weird stuff's going to grow, right? Down underground, covered in like cables and like, you know, probably centuries of like rotting bodies and stuff. Like, weird shit's going to grow on these tiles. And I do want, you know, a little bit of detail. A little bit. Okay, there we go. we go. And then we can do this guy. And there we go. But yeah, I'm super excited to be very close to finishing this project. Now that I've added another step with having to warp those tiles back, I'm less happy about that, but still, we're much closer than we were before. That's all we can ask for. All right. Going back to our first guy. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to pick out the tiles that you're going to see. We're going to pick them out in Payne's Gray. I love this. This is a really dark gray that's kind of cold with some blue in it. It makes a phenomenal black because it still reads as black, but it has enough detail that you can see details in it, right, without it being like pure black. Like you can see it here on the pure black, right? It looks a little bit more blue when it's wet like that, and it dries a lot blacker. So but yeah, absolutely love this color. I use this color for black all the time. The other one that I use from Pro Acryl is called Dark Neutral Gray. It is also a phenomenal black color because, again, it's light enough that you can actually see details in it. It's really nice. All right, so shoop, shoop. There we go. And just painting in this tile. Right, and it's going to be able to give kind of the like swashy, dirty areas some contrast, right? Now, really, there probably should be mud and scrapes and shit on this too, but I think having some that's kind of cleaner, I think, adds to the look by giving it that contrast. But yeah, just painting them on. Alright, you can see how quick this is. Alright, and you get a pretty good finish. Now, if I was to hit these with an oil wash, they would be amazingly dope. I think I'm talking myself into that as I sit here talking to the YouTubes. I think I'm talking myself into mixing up an oil wash for these. Maybe once they're all done, I'll do the oil wash. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so we'll have some contrast there. Should look pretty cool. We'll get the rest of these tiles painted in, and then we will take a look at some of the finished ones again, or more finished ones, because they're not really finished. And I'll show you guys how I put one of the walls down. Because there are a few problems with these tiles that I do want to mention. Okay, so first off, these tiles are great. They're absolutely phenomenal. They were like $4 or something on my mini factory. I printed out all of them for about $12. If I wanted 2x2 tiles that were official Zone Mortalis tiles, it would have cost me about $90. So I mean, for like 15 bucks, you literally can't go wrong. They're fantastic. Highly recommend these files from Print Minis. They do also have resin ones as well if you want to print these in resin, but I wanted them to be FDM. So you get both the option of resin or FDM. They are supportless FDM, print in about 2.5 hours on my Neptune 4. So pretty great. I really can't sing their praises enough. Now I'm going to bitch about them. That being said, there are some pieces from Zone Mortalis they are not compatible with. It is very easy to make them compatible though. But out of the box, they are not. So these pieces are the doors. And you're like, but you had a door on there earlier. I'm like, yeah, I did. And it took me about 2 minutes to make it compatible. But out of the box, they're not compatible. So you're going to have to modify them a little bit to do that. And you're like, oh, I don't know how to modify STLs. Well, one, modifying STLs is not that hard. But two, I didn't modify the STLs. And I'll show you what I did in 1 sec. Let me finish using up the rest of this black paint. You know, just made a couple quick, essentially like snips with some nippers. And they work then. Cause see what happened is, do you see these little teeth here? There, and there. These little teeth point in slightly too far, just like the tiniest bit too far, and it keeps stuff from like doors, some of the pipe stuff and stuff like that from working. However, you can trim the teeth down just a tiny bit with nippers, right? So just basically take like the tips off, like circumcise the little teeth bits, and they fit, right? They just go in a little bit too far. But once you just clip the teeth down with nippers, they'll go plop and pop right in there and be perfect, and work really, really, really well. So that is my one complaint about these floor tiles. Is that some of these pieces don't work, but they are very easy to mod, right? I literally just took nippers and went clip, 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 and, you know, made sure the piece was out of the way with a razor blade, and that was it. And then it just clipped right in. This also applies to the large doors. And the really nice thing about these files is that the large doors here, they can actually fit on this. So if you look at some of the other 6x6 tiles, they're all in this configuration, and you never actually get to use the large doors anymore. Whereas with this, you have some of this like T-bone configuration. There's another configuration too, but I don't remember what it was because I didn't like it. So you actually get 3 different configurations, but I only printed out 2. But because of that, you can use these large pieces or the double wall pieces, so they don't go to waste on your modular wall set. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. Alright, let's finish up the rest of our tiles. And then we'll put one of the walls on so I can show how I do that. And then I might be heading down to the city, down to town, to pick up a paint swap mini that I did with somebody. Every year there is a paint swap here in Honolulu, done by a guy named Kyle. And it's probably the best painting event on the island, to be honest, because it's just really fun, you know. Everybody puts a mini in, everybody gets a mini, you paint the mini, you give it back to the person who put it in, to the pool, and it's nice, right? It's a fun little thing. You know, you never know what you're gonna get, right? So like this year I put in a couple different minis so people could have a choice of minis. Whatever one they wanted, right, to paint. Turns out we actually had extra people wanting to paint that didn't put things in, so actually worked out, and my minis got sent to different people, so that was actually pretty cool. But people put all kinds of stuff in. I showed off the sexy geisha ninja lady that I got to paint. I showed her off. I turned her into an Oni on the channel before. She was very different to paint. I don't often paint sexy ladies. It's not really... Sexy ladies are not my jam. So I don't often paint sexy ladies. So that was kind of neat, right? I got to do some volumetric painting on her boobs, which is cool. On her lady bits. And I sculpted little horns and turned her into an Oni, which was pretty fun. Pretty fun. And it was weird because she was one giant honkin' resin piece. She's like 7 inches fucking tall. And that made it kind of hard to paint her, to be honest. But it made it different too, so. Yeah, definitely not something I would like seek out to paint, so that was kind of cool. Alright, last but not least, this guy here of these 4. Then we'll put a wall down. Because the walls, I'm actually not like mega attaching them. I'm gluing them on well enough, but I'm not like gluing them on till the end of time. Just because I want these wall sections to always be like usable is the wrong word, but I want them to always work together. So like if I screw up and make it so that they can't connect to each other or anything anymore, I want to be able to remove the pieces. So once I'm fully happy with them, I might go back and like really hard glue these things down, but for right now I'm just kind of making sure they're staying put, you know. You can see there's some print errors here and there. That would certainly get resolved if you did not use the fast setting. I think this is a side effect also from the table I have my 3D printer on, because it's really, really wobbly, and this 3D printer prints like 5 times faster than my previous one. So like you can hear it like creaking the table while it's rocking and rolling, man. Like it's like creak, 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 because it's like just zoom going. It's crazy. The Neptune 4 is really fast. All right. Fantastic. Okay. Now, once those dry out, they're going to kind of start to see the color kind of falling out of them a little bit, right? They're always going to have that little bit of cold gray, kind of cold black to them, but it's going to be way less than when you first paint it on. All right, let's grab ourselves a wall piece and we'll put one down. Okay. Let's do the one where we want the middle tile, middle pillar. Okay, so I'm not going to put this second wall section for this down, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm going to push the top out so that the super glue I'm about to use has some way to vent out the gases. If you don't do this, it can lead to like white residue, I guess, where you would want, where the super glue tried to vent and failed. So the first one I'm going to put down, right, just going to put it like that. And then if I was going to do walls on this one, what I would do is I would click them down like this, right? And now I haven't been gluing the walls sections down. What I've been doing is I've been gluing them to the pillars. So I glue them like that and hold it like this. And that ensures about as flat a side as you can get on the tile, so that it can always butt up with other things. Because if you glue it like that, see how like there's now a gap between it and the center wall. That means it's going to hang over the tile a little bit. And it's not going to have a full flush fitting. So if you make sure the top corner here is pushed against this inner tile, it will always have this flush fitting, which is what you want. So, but we're not going to glue this wall down because we want this one just to be the center pillar. So, I'm going to grab my super glue. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to throw a little here in the bottom. Bonk, 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 like that. I'm going to click her down. Alright, now once that's down, I'm going to go in there with the super glue. And there are little teeth on these center sections. So what I'm doing is just putting a little bit of glue between the plastic and the tooth. Now, if you didn't want to paint these first, right? So like say your walls aren't painted, you could actually use plastic glue on this because this is FDM and the GW plastic. So if you didn't paint them first, or you were going to assemble them and then prime them, you could plastic glue the whole thing, which honestly would be super dope. But obviously I have my walls painted already, so it's a moot point. But there we go. And now this section is ready to rock. And now when I come in with another section, it'll make a really cool layout, right? Got a little gap people can sneak through. Oh, speaking of that, so on New Year's Day, I built some of these guys, some of these beastmen. I've got almost all of them painted up. We'll put a couple of them out too. And you. Yeah, I actually did a shit ton of painting yesterday. I got a whole bunch of my chaos dudes ready to rock. There's grenade guy. Alright, so you can sneak through here now. Toss his poison grenade down the hall. Here's the shaman guy. Here's the big mace guy. It was the first one we built. Pretty cool, right? So, yeah, it's fun times. Fun times. And it's going to make a really nice set of terrain for this, right? Like, it's going to be really fun. So looking forward to starting a new StarQuest campaign on this terrain once it's all finished. So hopefully next weekend, fingers crossed next weekend, we'll start a new StarQuest campaign. Now that I gotta break the fucking heat gun out, who knows though, but maybe I'll try to do that later today. But yeah, that's how easy they are. That's how nice they are. If you did want to hit them with a dense oil wash, that would be amazing. They look even better. But for now, that's what we got. And with that, I think I am having to go down to town to Honolulu to pick up my Paint Spot Mini. But thank you guys for watching me work on these 4 tiles. I'll be back next weekend, and thank you for watching me opening up all the really cool Dead Man's Hand stuff. So excited to work on that too. After I get this done, Dead Man's Hand is probably going to be my next project. So, and then later this summer, I think my project is going to be a new set of Battletech terrain. I think it's going to be my main project after later this summer. Because what I want to do is I want to make an interchangeable set of terrain that will work for Battletech and Gundam Assemble. That's my goal. So, because Gundam Assemble is coming later this year, and I'm already fucking hyped as shit for it, and it's only been announced for a day. So, yeah. But yeah, that'll be Sunday, or that'll be next week. We'll get to work on these guys. We'll get to play on these guys hopefully. So, but gonna call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good one.